Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hope everyone's had a fantastic Sunday, the 29th of May, which means we are exactly one day away, basically the June 30th, from Arsenal actually, according to rumors, going massive in the transfer window, signing Rodrigo, Mbappe, Haaland, De Bruyne in his prime Ronaldinho, and all this stuff, basically, right? So let's see how that goes. But of course, if we talk about Arsenal, the big thing is Partey is leaving. It got confirmed fully, 100% today. We're going to talk about that a bit. Mosquera terms, personal terms have been officially agreed. We're going to talk about the first bid and the second bid that's about to go in at some point. Well, soon, let's just put it that way. And on top of all of that, of course, we're going to talk about the transfer window starting from now, moving on till, let's just say July 18th or just preseason, solely because at the moment, Arsenal are in a situation where they cannot afford any mistakes whatsoever regarding the signings, because one wrong signing and it's peak. It genuinely is getting peak instantly. If we get signings right, maybe it is salvageable. I wouldn't put my money on it, but maybe. But overall, it could be very, 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 very tough. I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna talk about all that. So, and some other bits and bobs here and there. Let's just put it that way. So if you haven't already, please do me a favor. Like the stream and everything. Smash the like button. Caress it, destroy it, hammer it, axe it. However you do it, please do it. Shares the word around, helps the algorithm around, and all that good stuff. Of course, subscribe if you're new around here. And don't forget to leave your thoughts down in the live chat so we can tackle them, discuss them, and we can go from there, of course. Big up, AJ. Big up. Hope you're doing well today. Well, what's going on today? Well, nothing much. Partey is leaving. Mosquera personal terms agreed. And Arsenal, well, it is Arsenal doing Arsenal things. Let's just put it that way. Nothing much, nothing there to it. Let's just say it as it is. So only time will tell what is going to happen in terms of that, because I'm sitting on social media looking at what people sign, what other teams are signing, who other teams are signing, and everything. At the moment, I'm sitting here, and in span of 48 to 72 hours, I have seen Chelsea sign Bino Gittins and João Pedro. Seriously, they just signed also João Pedro for 50 mil, and they have signed another forward. So they are moving fast. They have signed more forwards than we have in 5 years, pretty much what it feels like. So it's not looking too good, is it? It genuinely is not looking too good, is it? Anyhow, the big thing, which is really disappointing thing regarding Arsenal, I'm not gonna lie, it is actually painful to see, because I was hoping he would get an extension, of course. The big thing is this: Thomas Partey. Thomas freaking Partey. He is leaving Arsenal. It's pretty much officially confirmed by multiple sources, the Orange team, Fabrizio, and everyone else. Thomas Partey officially is going to leave Arsenal at the end of his contract in 1 day, basically. Not tomorrow, on Tuesday. That is done and dusted, and it's not looking great. I'm not going to lie. Thomas Partey, thank you for everything. To be honest, cannot set it there. Big up, Beggy. Hope you're doing well today. Big up YouTube censors. Jokeres, nothing else matters. True. Since we're signing all the Vikings, we have Norwegian, we have a Danish. We don't have a Danish. That's a food. We have a Dane now. We also need to sign a Swede, maybe someone from Iceland, and we are good to go, aren't we? We are actually good to go. Big up Shane. Big up the legendary Shane with his cooking. He is cooking, literally and figuratively. To be honest, he's cooking on streams. He's cooking on his channel, and he's cooking Top Gunners on top of that. So triple Michelin star chef basically in the house. So go show him some love. Go subscribe to him. Show him some love daily. It's, when is it even? 10:30 a.m. UK time, the big Irish breakfast. If you want to have some laughs, you have some banner, some waffle, and some facts, definitely go subscribe. And of course, weekend streams of cooking, everyone including, starting with Moneypenny, continuing with the gal, and the rest of the gang. Let's just say it as it is. £20 that Thomas Partey wins the double with his new club. Any takers? To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, people are saying, oh, but Thomas Partey left Atleti, and exactly next season they won the La Liga and everything. But if you look, Thomas Partey is leaving, right? Thomas Partey is leaving Arsenal. And we have signed Zubimendi instead. Jorginho Lepi has signed Norgard instead. Like, what the hell are we doing? Like, serious talk, what the hell are we doing? Because for me, that doesn't scream title-winning midfield. It doesn't scream improvement. It screams more regression, which continues from the previous season. Thomas Partey had an injury-free season, pretty much. Missed about 5 games last season. Then he, of course, before that, he had an injury season. And then before the season before that, he missed only 8 games. So every other season, technically, you could say he actually has been solid. Obviously, it's also a contract year and everything. Maybe that's why he avoided injuries. But it's all up in the air. It's like, I don't get it. Because for me personally, the money we paid to get Norgard, on top of that, the salary we're going to pay him, easily could have paid Thomas Partey's wages. Extension 1 year plus one year option or something like that. Maybe even a 2-year guarantee deal. Obviously, injuries are a bit of a worry. Not that's a massive worry. Let's just say it as it is. At the same time, the qualities, the abilities he actually brought to our midfield cannot be replaced. Like, there are certain players who are very unique. Let's just put it that way. There are very players that are unique and everything. And the game starts in 1 hour, by the way. The game starts in 1 hour. Big up, Gavin. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. The abilities, what Thomas Partey brought to Arsenal in terms of line breaking, physicality, even defending, let's be real, it's very hard to replace. Let's just say that as it is. If you look at the complete package, as people like to say these days, Thomas Partey had the abilities that you don't see too often into midfielders, into number 6s in general, because number 6s tend to be very one-dimensional many times. Like, they either can go forwards passing or they can defend, one or the other. And there are very rare examples of players that can do both, like Rodri, to some extent Casemiro, and obviously Thomas Partey for me fits that bill. And to replace him, even last summer, I was saying that if we decide to sell Thomas Partey, if Thomas Partey leaves, if we don't extend his contract, it will take 2 players to replace him. That was my stance on this situation, and it looks like it kind of has come to tuition, because Zubimendi and Norgard signings combined kind of can replace Partey, not even to the full extent. About 80%, maybe 85% can replace Thomas Partey, because Thomas Partey, if he wasn't injury prone, he actually had it all. If he had a bit more pace, ideal for Arsenal, definitely, and many clubs. It's very unfortunate, and obviously you can put it all on Arteta with his training regimes, Arsenal's training ground as well, with the rumors that it's built on a car park and it's very hard and all that stuff, that in 5 years or 6 years at Atletico, he got injured. Genuinely, you could count the times on one hand's fingers. He comes to Arsenal, and you need 2-3 hands to count all of his injuries. And then if you look at Norgard's injuries, it's not looking too good as well, because he gets injured also as much. Yes, he is out for less amount of time, but still he is out. He's not available. Maybe Arteta doesn't want African player because of African AFCON and everything that's going to happen this year and at the end of the year or something like that. Maybe, but who knows? Genuinely, who knows? Because we have very European-based team with few South Americans in there, and even not the best South Americans, and not even a lot, with 1 or 2 of them. Same goes as well for, we have Japanese player, but the less said and better, like Tomiyasu at Arsenal is the same situation as Sasquatch or something like Yeti or aliens or UFOs and stuff like that, because there are rumors that they exist, there are pictures that they exist. But do they really exist? Nobody knows. That's what it feels like when you talk about Tomiyasu. But going back to Partey, I think Arsenal have screwed up big time. Because, yes, we have signed Zubimendi. It looks like he will be the Partey replacement. Let's just put it as they want to deem it, right? I can see where he actually could be Thomas Partey's replacement. But to fully replace Thomas Partey, you need to have the physicality, the ability to tackle and be very successful in that regard. So unless basically Arteta plans to play 5 midfielders at the same time that actually have some defensive abilities included, I don't see it happening. I genuinely don't see it happening. I'm very, very convinced in this mindset that signing Zubimendi and Norgard and letting Partey and Jorginho go has made our midfield weaker. It's not better. It's not stronger. It's maybe a bit faster, but at the same time, it's not the same. It is weaker. And I'm not talking about abilities-wise, because abilities-wise, you could actually argue the same point, but I'm talking more physically. Yes, Jorginho wasn't the strongest, but whether you like it or not, Jorginho had this weird ability, which, I'm not gonna lie, I hated Jorginho when he was at Chelsea. He had the ability to draw fouls on himself, to kind of do the dark arts and everything if needed. Yes, he cost us games. I'm not going to deny that, just like Zinchenko. But yeah, I don't see where Arsenal are heading with this. Unless we play Skelly in the midfield on consistent basis, unless we sign another proper midfielder, it just feels like Arsenal have absolutely gone in a different direction, which they haven't thought through, till the end at least. Because so far, I can see maybe where they want to go. I'm going to be honest. But I don't see the end game. I genuinely don't see the end game with letting Thomas Partey go. What is the end game? More passing, more control? We already are boring. Do we need to be even more boring? Because I know it's a joke, but we literally could put Arsenal's games on 2-3 times sped up, and that would actually feel like a normal football game. Because we play so slow, so lethargic that I don't know, even like as they say, it cures insomnia. Let's just put it that way. Like watching Arsenal play cures insomnia. That's what's nuts. Big up Most Wanted. Hope you're doing well today. The thing is, I can see Zubimendi get injured, and then we'll need to play Norgard when we had the option to play Partey. Yes, exactly. That is the biggest thing, because we played Declan Rice with broken toe, right? This season, there's no secrets about that and everything. And now what if Partey? What if Zubimendi and Rice get injured? What then? Will we have a midfield of Merino and Norgard, Lokonga and Norgard? What's gonna happen then? Because last year, and even years before, one of our biggest complaints, at least for me personally, was that if one of our main guys gets injured, we don't have a proper replacement. Genuinely, the drop-off from even Odegaard, as shithead as he was last year, like drop from Odegaard was to here. Drop from Partey to whoever was Jorginho also was down here. Drop from, we don't even have a striker, so cannot use that. Drop from Saka to whoever goes there. It's like from here to here as well. And it's all over the pitch like that. And now if we look at what we have done now, with letting Thomas Partey go, with letting Jorginho go, signing in Zubimendi and Norgard, it hasn't changed a thing. Even if Zubimendi is good, right? If he gets injured, Lokonga or Norgard has to play. Or Merino, right? Again, the drop-off is massive. If Rice gets injured, the drop-off is massive. If both of them get injured, we might as well not have midfield at all. We might as well play 6 at the back or 7 at the back in hopes that we actually don't concede a goal. And that, for me, is the biggest worry. Because we will have a very, again, weak rotation, which at the end of the day means that even in the games where we should be rotating and could be rotating, means if we rotate, we're going to drop off massively. And the more we drop off the quality with the rotation, the bigger chances we give the opposing side against us. And we all know that there is FA Cup magic, Carabao Cup magic, where weaker teams beat stronger teams. And even with our best sides, we sometimes quite a lot struggle against weaker sides. And now imagine if we even rotate with those players. It's going to look even worse. It genuinely is going to look even worse. So this Thomas Partey situation is really, really, really getting under my skin. I'm not going to lie. And people told me in the comments that I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about and everything, right? But that's how I see it. I'm sorry that people don't want to see different kinds of points of views. Because I understand that other people are saying Zubimendi is going to be great, Norgard is a solid backup and everything. I get it. But when when actually we will see this in life, in action. Like, it could be more painful than people imagined. It could be worse than it was. But until we see it, we won't know, ultimately. But personally, I'm not a believer in this. I'm not a believer at all. Because if we signed Zubimendi, right? We had Rice, we had Merino, at striker maybe, and we extended Partey's contract, and then we signed Norgard as an extra backup, I would be cool, because we would have proper midfield depth, we would have proper rotation, and we actually would have options. But right now, looking at this, that we are letting Jorginho go, Partey is gone, and we have basically made another player per player change, if you want to look at it that way. Nothing has improved. Quality is the same, if not worse. We will see, obviously. But again, like per like subs are going to happen. It's inevitable. But we don't have a deeper point of view to look into it anymore. Big up, Harry. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. With this explanation, what did you want Arsenal to do? I just said, sign Zubimendi, extend Partey, and then I would actually be cool. Maybe on top of that, if you want to sign Norgard, okay, fine. But the fact that we have actually basically basically 2 our midfielders go and signed in 2 midfielders, our squad hasn't gotten bigger. You could argue our squad hasn't gotten better. Physically, definitely, they haven't got better, in my opinion. And that, for me, is a big issue right now. Unless, again, we put Skelly in the midfield. But that means we need to sign a proper left back, right? We need to sign a left back. And then we get told that left back signings are only going to happen if we let defensive players go. Why does it have to be that way? Why does it have to be that way? Why cannot we sign a left back? Put Skelly in the midfield? Less worries. Is it the wages? 100% it is. Because Zinchenko we cannot sell. We can sell him for a bag of crisps, basically. Nobody wants to take him. AC Milan wanted to pay 10 million for him because he's on 150 grand a week. Half of the money they would pay to us to get to basically to buy him actually goes to his wages. Because which player wants to go to a different team and basically decrease their salary at least by a half? That is also a big thing. We have put players on such ginormous wages that basically we need to take pay cuts on players solely because of those wages. Because other teams cannot afford them. Because Premier League has the money. Unless he goes to Saudi, like, it seems impossible. That for me is also a big, big worry. I can see him playing Odegaard where Rice play and play Merino as a number 6 with Wanjeri where Odegaard is playing. Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. Do you think Merino can do a job at a 6? Because from what we saw last season and with Merino in the midfield, granted he played in the 8 quite a bit, with Rice in the 6, it didn't look too convincing. Maybe in the 6 he could be better. But again, unless he tries this in preseason just to test it out, we will never know. Because again, during season, to take these type of risks, it can pay off. I'm not gonna lie, it can pay off. But 9 out of 10 times, it will end in a massive misery at the end of the day. Because mostly that's how it has gone for Arsenal. If we put MLS at the left 8, we need a left back of quality. Exactly. We need one. Yes, we have been linked with Hato and and the only left back, to be honest, we've been linked to, in my opinion, from at least what I have seen. We have not been linked with any others. Even then, it's still a gray area. Because even if you look at how Ajax have conceded goals, yes, Ajax have been a massive mess last season. Massive mess last season. I would say quite a big chunk of goals comes from Hato's situations. And that is, again, a big, big worry. Mikel Merino can only play 9. To be honest, at 9, he's better than a 6 or an 8. Merino is not good enough for Arsenal because he played up front, scored some goals. People overestimated him. It's quite ironic, isn't it, that we signed a player, again, just like Havertz, to play in midfield. Mikel Arteta's words, by the way. He signed Havertz as a midfielder. And it didn't work in the midfield then he puts them up top, and it somewhat works. Let's just put it that way. Somewhat works. And Merino, who has never ever played the striker role in his life, looked actually quite decent there for a player who has never done it. And if we compare him to actually Havertz, he looked also better than Havertz, who has been playing attacking roles his whole life. That is the thing. Arteta buys these players left, right, and center, which are Swiss Army knife type of players, as people want to say. But I'm very sick of this as well. I'm a firm believer that at least the spine of your team needs to be specialists. Specialists, striker, number 6, center backs, goalkeeper, and the rest you can figure out afterwards. But we don't have that, do we? We have a 6 who is a makeshift 8 or a 6, go figure. We don't even have a striker. Our 2 center backs and goalkeeper are the only spots where we have specialists. For me personally, there are certain roles in the team where I don't want to see, for example, a left winger playing striker. Right? I don't want to see stuff like that. Unless he has been a striker or something like that. There are exceptions. But mostly, I don't want to see, for example, as well, all of a sudden, a left winger play left back. Out of nowhere. Like, that for me makes no sense whatsoever. You never saw Arsene Wenger put Patrick Vieira as a right back. Thierry Henry playing left back or left wing back. You never saw that. They had their roles. They knew what they were good at. They were one of the best in their position, and they executed the tasks from the manager game in, game out. That's why you need specialists in specific positions, because they are the dependable ones. You know what you're going to get from them game in, game out. And so far, for us, it's the 2 center backs, and it's the right wing. And a goalkeeper, let's just say that. Rest of them are mystery to be solved. Many, many times. And that, for me, is a big worry. Big, big worry. Big, big, big worry. Watch Thomas Partey stay in Prem. I'm not too sure he's going to stay in Prem. I can see him going to Barcelona, though. 100% I can see that. Maybe Saudi. Maybe Serie A. Especially since he's free agent now. I don't see him staying in Prem. Unless there is some random team that's going to take him. Maybe Emery might take him. Maybe. But they have these issues. Maybe not. Like, that for me is a big worry. Imagine if he actually stays in Prem and he balls out for that team and doesn't get injured. Like, that then will show how bad Mikel Arteta has basically drained the players and how much he has used them to gain an advantage. Let's just put it that way. He has absolutely ran them into the ground. Okay, let's talk about something else now. Like a midfield, you have Zubimendi, Norgard, Odegaard, Merino, Rice, Kai. I assume that's Ethan is enough to win you the league with a good striker. Zubimendi, Norgard, Odegaard, Merino, Rice, Havertz, Ethan is enough to win you the league. It's not enough. It definitely is not enough, in my opinion. I get the Rice. I get the Zubimendi. But why do you want to put Kai Havertz in the midfield? Kai Havertz, when he arrived at Arsenal, he played half a season in the midfield. And we crashed out miserably, arguably. It wasn't working. We somehow managed to bumble our way through games, but it wasn't working. Then all of a sudden, we put him up top. He went on a purple patch, and we actually did some things. We blitzed a few teams. It looked, well, let's just say fine and dandy for that period of time. Let's just put it that way. And then for the game against Aston Villa, where it mattered the most, arguably, which everyone saw was the hardest game of the season to happen for the end part of the season, he puts him back in the 8th. And what happened? We lost the game 2-0. Game where we arguably, again, lost the league. But we didn't lose the league in that game. We lost the league in the first part of the season when we went 1-7 in December with Kai Havertz in the midfield, where we drew at home against 10-man Fulham and Thomas Partey was playing right back as well. And Gabriel was holding the bench because of interest from Saudi and all that crap that was going on at the time. At the end of the day, To some extent, it doesn't matter, even in certain ways, who we have. Because Arsenal have this ability to shoot themselves in the foot one way or the other. And it's usually not against the big teams, it's always against the small teams, which Arsenal should be getting results against, but they ultimately don't. 2 years in a row losing to West Ham at home. That's definitely going well for us. Against Brighton, Bournemouth 2-0 loss away. Like games like that, draws against Everton away, Burnley, Southampton issues away. Those are our bogey teams. We struggle against Fulham now. Those games are the games where we lose the league, not against the big six. Oh, we have the best record against the big six. Okay, cool. So what? If your record against the bottom six is basically average, it means nothing. So in that regard, it's moot point. Partey will go to Emirates and just watch, dude, if that happens. Imagine the outrage if that happens. This manager loves Kai Havertz there. I think he wants a striker to bring off the bench because he wants Kai Havertz there. Yeah, it looks that way. Like, Havertz is undroppable. Arteta must justify the 65 million signing, and he must prove that he was right. He much rather basically sacrifices certain situations, certain tactics, certain systems for the team, maybe even some advantages the team gains without Kai Havertz in the team, to play him and to try and prove that he's right. He doesn't admit when he's wrong as well. He always, well, there is circumstances, small margins, guys, XG, guys, we were the best team in Europe, guys, wrong pressure of the ball, guys, imagine the light bulb, guys, pickpocket your own players, guys, and all this stuff. There's always excuses, no accountability. And the worst part is, top Gunners eat it up. They eat it up on consistent basis, like it's their daily, I don't know, dose of dopamine or something like that. Because they don't hold Arteta accountable as well. Genuinely don't hold accountable him for any mistakes. Because when team is playing bad, oh, it's the players. When team is playing well, it's the manager. So what about the players then? What about the manager when team plays bad? Oh, signing bangs, it's Arteta signing. Signing is shit. Oh, it's Edu's signing. Or in this case, it will be Berta's signing. Just watch. At some point during the season, when a signing we have made will cost us points, it will be all dropped on Andrea Berta instead of actually holding manager accountable for making some sort of a signing who is subpar. Because, for example, it's been said already multiple times that Norgard was heavily pushed by Mikel Arteta, for example. Zubimendi as well has been pushed by Edu and Arteta from last year because we were interested in him last year. If we sign Sesko and he doesn't go well, it will be dropped on Berta, by the way. It won't be on Arteta, despite the fact that we wanted him last year with already Mikel Arteta and Edu just basically pushing the narrative to get that striker. It will be on Berta at the end of the day. Arteta will never hold smoke from that, from at least the top Gunners, definitely. Big up Kwame, hope you're doing well. A striker is essential or no honors this season. 100%. 100%. Striker, left winger, proper rotation, proper squad management, proper tactics, different ideas, plan B, plan C, plan D during games and everything. It's a must, to say the least. It is a must. But we all know that at least 70% of what I just said out won't happen. Because every single year is the same situations, same substitutions, same scenarios, and nothing changes. Like per like subs, same attacking patterns, passing patterns, and everything. Nothing has changed. And if we cannot create from open play instantly, bang, corners, bang, long throws. That was our plan B against PSG. Rory Delap throw-ins, and just hope for the best. Credit where credit is due, to be honest. It worked in the beginning. We could have scored and we didn't. Donnarumma made some great saves. That's it. We had our first 10 minutes of glory to showcase that we can actually do something. And then that's it. That was pretty much all she wrote at the end of the day. Oh, but we won on the XG and everything. XG doesn't win you games. Goals win you games. You can have 6.5 XG during the game and score one goal. Other team can have 1.2 XG and they score a free kick and a corner, or they score from open play from random angle or something like that. They lost 2-1. They won 2-1. It's genuinely insane how people hold on to the stats, XG, escape rate, expected assists, possession, and all this stuff like it's their holy Bible, like it's their only thing they know in the world. Look at Champions League years ago. Celtic versus Barcelona. Celtic had 18% possession against Barcelona. Barcelona lost. Like, it means nothing at the end of the day unless you can turn it into goals and into winning, into 3 points, and into titles. Big up, Hyper Protagonist. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Big up, big up. Thank you. Someone at least noticed. I'm happy. I can now end the stream happy. I'm kidding. I'm not ending the stream. But yeah, somebody noticed. Big up to you. Big up and thank you. The thing is, where do you put Havertz? Bench? Or the first plane in Heathrow out of England instantly? On the bench. You sell him. Big up, Most Wanted. Hit the likes, people, if you haven't already. Hit the like, subscribe if you're new and you're enjoying the content, and leave your thoughts down in the live chat as well, by the way. Arteta is to blame because he picks his hopeless favorites such as Odegaard and Havertz. Exactly. He picks the team. So Arteta is at fault at the end of the day. Arteta has said also himself he gets pretty much a final say on the signings. He gets a massive influence on that. So those are his signings at the end of the day. Rest of the stuff, it falls on the others. Last year was the same thing. Calafiori and Merino. How many reports were out there that there were arguments in the hierarchy, whether it was Tim Lewis, Garlic, Edu, whoever, that Calafiori is not the best thing for Arsenal. His injury record is just shambolic and it will not work. Arteta said, F all that, I want him, you get me him. Same went with Merino. There were reservations about Merino, his ability to adjust back to Premier League. Because he was at Newcastle, he wasn't bad, but he was also not great. Yes, he was young at the time. He was about, 20, if I'm not mistaken, and everything. They were the same arguments. And he still, Arteta put his big hammer down and said, I want him. Big up, people, big up. Big up, why not? Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Hope you're feeling great. Big up, Kwame. Big up, Burton. One simple solution. Martinelli being the backup striker to the one we bring in while we get a left winger and then have Kia Seed. Kia C apostrophe D, as Jeremy Clarkson would say. As a squad player, yeah. That is technically the simplest solution. But then if you look at into the situation that you have a 285,000 a week salary, wage-wise player as a squad player, it just doesn't look good, does it? It genuinely does not look good. It looks actually embarrassing on Arsenal's point of view. But hey, Havertz should not be the main guy in any way, shape, or form, nowhere on the pitch. That is the biggest thing. With Arteta as the boss, Havertz somehow will find himself in the first 11. Yeah, it's been already rumored that no matter who comes in for the striker role, for the first 3-4 games in the league, Havertz is going to start. Those are the rumors. Not sure if it's true or not, obviously, but those are the so-called rumors going around already. One thing I wouldn't doubt, though Havertz defends set piece as well, though. 6'4", he should be doing that well, to be honest, with all the corners and free kicks that come in. Like, he should be doing that, but that's not why we have bought him for, at the end of the day. Like, half of the players we have in the team are doing half of the things they do during game are things they should not be doing in the team. Because nobody wants to see Saka play left wing back and make great tackle. Nobody wants to see Martinelli do Usain Bolt Olympic sprinter type situation, sprinting from the corner at the opponent's edge of the box to our edge of the box to defend. Nobody wants to see that. We want to see our players attack with intensity, creativity, pace, score goals, be dangerous and everything. 21 years we last won the Premier League title. It will be Liverpool and City again, and we won't stop them with Arteta. Yeah, exactly. We won't. We genuinely won't. This manager has shown that he cannot get it over the line. We've been 8 points clear. We didn't win it. We were chasing it. We didn't win it. We have been all the cups. We have balled top 4. We have finished 8 twice. It's not looking good. It's true. Arteta doesn't care about Arsenal. His arrogance, no, that and I don't even want to get into that. That will be another half an hour tangent I'm gonna go on. That's why this fraud wants Sesko, because Gyökeres will want to start up front from the get go. Sesko can be benched, no issues. Yeah, Sesko is young. He needs to develop, adjust to the league. What else Arteta has said? He needs 55 games to adjust and all this stuff, right? To adjust to the system. He changes system basically seasonally. How can you adjust to the system if you don't even play 55 games? And then what does it matter if you change the system for the next season? Again, you have to start learning everything all over again. Like at the end of the day. Setsko's signing gives him time, gives him an excuse, gives him a cop-out. It's like a secret passage. He has an escape route, basically, a parachute, in case the plane starts falling down. It's a lifeboat if his ship is starting to sink. That's what is Sesko to him at the end of the day. If Gyökeres comes in, he wants to start. He wants his proper support. He wants proper attackers with him, and he wants to attack and win now. That will put extra pressure on the team, extra pressure on Arteta, extra pressure on everyone, and they just don't want that, do they? They're just happy in their little bubble and happy dancing around, farting rainbows and everything. They just don't want the pressure, because whenever pressure rises and it comes up to here, we genuinely fall instantly, and that's about it. Victor Gyökeres, 14, Rodrigo, 10. Thank you. Please, exactly. Sign Rodrigo, sign Gyökeres. We can go from there afterwards. The only players that I respect are Timber, I assume that's Gabriel Magalhães, Skelly, Manieri, Jorginho, Partey, who have both left. Rice and Saka, of course. The rest aren't good enough. I get it. What about Raya? You putting Raya in this equation or not? Because Raya is actually not a bad keeper. If our defense holds up, Raya has actually saved us many times. Yes, he has these bozo moments, which I'm not a big fan of. But ultimately, I would say Raya could also be kind of included into that. But look at the players you named. Timber, defender. Gabriel, defender. Skelly, well, midfielder, but technically a defender. Manieri, attacker. Jorginho, well, midfield defender. Partey, midfield defender. Rice, midfield defender. That's 6. Saka 2. 2 attackers, 6 defenders. That's what you named right now. Isn't that telling a lot? That especially that when people get asked, specifically about this season that just went, player of the season for Arsenal, 9 times out of 10, you will hear a defensive name. It's going to be Timber. It's going to be Gabriel. It might be even Declan Rice. And Declan Rice, for me, actually is not player of the season. He won player of the season, in my opinion, solely because of the 2 goals he scored against Real Madrid. Recency bias, you could argue, right? Gave us some magical moments. But for me personally, Declan Rice wasn't player of the season for Arsenal. For me, it was Timber or Gabriel. I would definitely put those 2 up there. Like, defenders are our players of the season. That is actually kind of nuts. Gyökeres is the answer, not Sesko. Exactly. In my opinion, 100%. You guys are not seeing what Arteta sees in those players. What? Potential? Future? Animal rescue? Arteta has failed, and for 5 years, our fans won't put up with the crap anymore. Trust me, fans will put up with it as long as it takes. That is the sad part. What about Saliba? Saliba became very shaky as soon as Gabriel went. I'm just going to say it that way. Saliba had his few moments here or there, but that is expected from a player. But it showed quite massively as soon as Gabriel got injured. He didn't have his basically backbone anymore there. Because Saliba is more flashy type of defender. He can defend very well. There's no argument about that. But Gabriel is that guy. He's that more old school type of defender who basically puts his body on the line. He goes into the tackle. He is old school type of defender. He is not afraid. With Saliba, you get that flair, you get that flash, which is very common these days, right? He's more ball playing, hence why he wants to maybe not per se show off, but it's in his nature. Let's just put it that way. And with Gabriel going, Saliba definitely lost something, an extra confidence into him. Ryan Saliba. Yeah, I would say Ryan Saliba as well. He didn't even play Vanjeri in those last couple of games. Yeah. Vanjeri didn't saw pitch. Butler Deji didn't even get a chance. Played a few seconds for Arsenal and got binned off. Sturm Graz are now looking to sign Butler Deji. Remember how that went for Mika Biereth? Holy moly. And everything. When Yuri didn't get games in the last few games, he didn't even get games when Odegaard was injured because he played their Merino, Zinchenko, Havertz, Trossard. He played instead of him. Arsenal fans were pissed off. I'm not gonna lie, quite a few, and it never happened pretty much. Then Saka gets injured, and again, Arteta starts to play their Havertz, Martinelli, Trossard on occasion, and then all of a sudden, I'm not gonna lie, fans again start uproar. What's happening? Why when Yuri doesn't get a game? Why doesn't he play at all? When one of your guys is injured and you don't have anyone, you don't want to play Raheem Sterling. It's evident. So why not you play? Why not you give a chance for Wanjeri? And all of a sudden, Wanjeri plays a few games. Yes, he does. He started a few, but and then he came off the bench a bit more. Like, it's not it. Saliba is too careless, but I think that is with Gabriel, unfortunately. One trophy of possible 22 is good enough. Oh, bloody hell. That's less than 5% win rate. Don't even want to talk about that. Raya has been impressive. I'm not going to lie. Raya has been impressive because I always go back, at least for the first 3-4 games of the season last year. If Raya doesn't make, for example, that save on Strand Larson, right on stroke of halftime, it would have been 1-1. The game could have gone either way. If Raya doesn't make that double save against Aston Villa last year, we would have lost because it was 0-0 still by then. Obviously, Watkins missed empty net as well. That's a different story, right? If Raya doesn't make that double save on Retegui against Atalanta, we lose that game. Like, Raya in the beginning of the season saved us big time as well. We cannot deny that. Obviously, towards the end part of the season, Raya, I don't know what happened to him. It felt like he on occasion got space jammed, if you know what I mean. But overall, he was very good. Like, is he like out and out title winning goalkeeper like Donnarumma, Alisson, Ederson, players Ter Stegen, even goalkeepers like that, Courtois? No, he's not. But he is not so bad that you cannot win trophies with him. He's actually very decent. If you put proper defense in front of him, like we have, and if in clutch moments he makes those saves, which he tends to do more often than not, let's be real, it's possible. Let's be real. Big up everyone. 9 likes. Big up to you all, people. If you haven't already, do me a favor. Like the stream and subscribe. Why didn't he play Trossard left wing, Martinelli at striker, and Wanjeri right wing? I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it. He played Raheem Sterling instead of Wanjeri, by the way. Seriously, he decided to play Sterling over Wanjeri. That tells you everything you need to know in meaningless games, even. Big up Stockholm Gumner. Big up Sweden. Big up Sweden. Where's Gyökeres at Arsenal, huh? Just tuned into your channel. Is our midfield better with Zubimendi and Norgard in and with Partey and Jorginho out? I don't think so. I think Zubimendi and Norgard bring different qualities to our midfield, but does that necessarily make our midfield better? I don't think so. For me personally, we should have signed Zubimendi, we could have signed Norgard, and we should have extended Partey's contract. I would be happy with that. But the fact that we basically let Partey go just like that, it has made our midfield weaker. Because there is, how to say this? There is a reason why Thomas Partey, from many Arsenal fans, got the nickname The General. There is a reason. And we don't have that anymore in the midfield. Yes, Partey had some awful games. Yes, Partey had some good games. But overall, Partey was great for us. Obviously, injuries was not great. But when he played, I would say about 85 to 90% of the time, he was decent about 7 or above. Or even 10 out of 10 many times. Partey actually was one of those who many people at times overlooked. So overall, I would say our midfield, unfortunately, has gotten weaker in those terms. We don't have that general in the midfield anymore. Arteta is stubborn, yes. We have what? Sorry, what? Anyways, anyhow, it's much. I wouldn't say it's much worse, but it is worse. Arsenal will live to regret allowing General Thomas Partey go. Yeah, that I definitely believe so. I definitely believe so. But don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys, because we have potentially a defender coming in. Apparently, Arsenal. Oh, zoom in. Apparently, Arsenal have reached a full agreement on personal terms with Christian Mosquera. New proposal set to be submitted after opening bid of 14 million euros. That's what, about 11 million pounds, got rejected by Valencia. Arsenal hope to get the deal done for a fee in excess of 20 million euros, about 17 million pounds. Talks are underway. Isn't like 20 million his release clauses in general? So I would assume that is the reason why. But overall, Mosquera he's going to be a backup. He plays mostly left center back. He can play right center back. He can play both center back positions for Valencia. And on occasion, he has played right back as well. But predominantly, obviously, he is a center back. And if we want him, we have to play him there. He's not a bad defender. He's 20 years old only, right? He's very fast, which bails him out quite a bit. Let's just put it that way. If we compare it, it's like Kyle Walker type of situation. Not the best at defending, but pace definitely helped him. Same goes with Mosquera, right? But given that he's only 20, there is a possibility he will grow into a proper defender. The issue is, though, it's another goddamn defender. Where are the bloody strikers? Where are the bloody forwards? I have seen just Chelsea in span of 48 to 72 hours sign Gittins and sign João Pedro. Seriously, in span of 72 hours max, I have seen Chelsea sign 2 forwards. Arsenal have signed none in 3 years. What? What the hell are we doing here? Seriously. It's embarrassing to say the least. Partey leaving is a huge problem for this team, 100%. I don't think people realize how much Partey leaving could potentially affect us during next season. Because our midfield already got overrun in certain games against Villa, against Newcastle, against more physical championship sides and everything. It could get worse, potentially. Big up Everest, hope you're doing well. Congrats on the Mosquito signing. Oh, bloody hell, don't. Is he actually signed? Don't do this to me right now. See? João Pedro, 50 million to Chelsea. 50 million. How nuts is that? João Pedro for 50 million to Chelsea. Here we go, Gyökeres. Following Sporting President's quotes, Victor Gyökeres has no intention to come back and play again. He's on strike. Gyökeres already informed the club about it. According to Record Portugal, looks promising. Swedish striker insists on the pact made last year over some Brexit, now feeling betrayed and tired. So, Stockholm Gunnar, if you're still here, please make him sign for Arsenal somehow. Make him. I beg of you. Big up Everest, by the way. Go subscribe to Everest, resident Liverpool fan. I don't hate this, but how can you look at a center back when you don't have attack? Exactly. It feels like Arteta just wants to park the bus and hope it works. Well, let's just get whole Spanish team to Arsenal now. Exactly. By the way, did you see this yesterday? Was anyone in the stream when I showed it? Because I don't remember if anyone was here. Look what Top Gunners are doing. Wait. Look what Top Gunners are doing these days. This is Top Gunner Central. Arsenal have had their French era showing Wenger and legends of the club, maybe not Wilter to the same extent, but Vieira, Henry, and Pires. Now it's time for the Spanish to leave their mark in North London. And it shows Arteta, Raya, Zubimendi, who hasn't even been announced, Mosquera, who hasn't been even announced, and Merino, who is better at striker than he's in the midfield. This is what Top Gunners are doing these days, by the way. We need a striker. That's what we need. Exactly. Striker, winger, all we need. 50 million is almost nothing in these markets. True. Is João Pedro worth 50 million? No, he's not, I would say. At the same time, go sign him. Good for Chelsea in that regard. Good for Chelsea. Plus, they bought him for Brighton, and all that. So there will be some premium on top of that. It's so clear Victor Gyökeres wants to play for our club. What madness are we doing? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. We haven't signed a striker since, well, Aubameyang, arguably. So that is 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago. 7.5 years ago since we signed Aubameyang. 3.5 since we let him go, and we still haven't signed a striker. We still haven't signed Aubameyang's replacement. 3.5 years. In that time, we've spent about 500 to 600 million and still haven't signed a goddamn striker. This is so goddamn disrespectful to Wenger and those legends. Facts. So disrespectful. Yet at the same time, they dress it up like it's the best thing you can ever imagine. Like, top Gunners are just different. Let's just put it that way. They genuinely are just different. Robo, who makes you sick at Arsenal? Like people? You mean Arsenal fans or in Arsenal as the employers and all this stuff? Arteta and the Cronkies make me sick. Yeah, Arteta, Cronkies, maybe the board a bit as well, I'm not gonna lie. Arteta has never... Nah, he hasn't. That's the biggest thing. Arteta, in his time at Arsenal, has never signed a French player, first things first. And second of all, never has signed a striker, which really scares me. Because if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm looking at this and not looking that Arteta has never signed a striker. Does he even know how to manage and coach a striker? Because he has never done it before. He had Aubameyang, he put him at left wing and made him play left wing back half the time. He had Lacazette who played at the 6 half the time pressing back. So we haven't seen actually a proper striker being coached properly under Mikel Arteta. We have not even seen that. So that is another thing you need to put into equation even when you want Gyökeres or you want Sesko or you want Watkins or Osimhen or whoever. We have never seen Arteta coach a striker as well. How can anyone have any confidence that those players will get better and will improve the team if we have never seen Arteta coach a striker? I know I'm contradicting myself here, but bear with me a bit. Signing Gyökeres is a statement signing. He will score goals. But he will need to improve. The system will need to be changed, Arteta's system. Right? And we haven't seen Arteta adjust his system to fit the players. Arteta adjusts the players to fit his system, which is a big, big issue. Because no matter how you look at it, you take away something from that player you have signed or you have in your team at the end of the day, the way I see it. Because if you adjust the system to fit the player, you actually can elevate that player's strengths and hide his weaknesses. At the same time, you elevate other players' strengths and you hide other players' weaknesses. But Arteta does it other way around. He adjusts the player by taking away some of his strengths just so he can fit into his system. And we see that all over the pitch. We have seen it with Martinelli. We have seen it with Rice. We have seen it with Partey. We have seen it all over the place. I feel like Arteta doesn't rate Gyökeres, hence reason why he wants Sesko. But Gyökeres is a good striker who made defenders scared with his strength and pace. Exactly. The thing is, with his pace, Arsenal don't even use that pace that much, even on a counter. Other worry is, what if Gyökeres gets injured because Arteta will make him press like no tomorrow? For me, Gyökeres is very obvious solution. Very obvious. For me, Sesko is not even top 3 signings for striker department specifically for Arsenal. Sesko is not top 3 signings for Arsenal in the striker department. At the same time, go figure. Arteta makes so many excuses when it comes to strikers. He treated Oba like that, yeah. And the worst part is, remember the season when we were playing 22-23 season, expensive attacking football, blitzing teams, one of the best football you can watch, one of the best teams to watch in Europe, people said, right? Arteta got asked in an interview, do you think you could score more and you would have won the league with being 8 points clear if you had a striker? Arteta said, we don't need the striker because we share the goals around. That was his saying, right? Next year, quarterfinals against Bayern Munich. We lose to Bayern Munich and all this stuff, right? Arteta gets asked in the interview, why could not we score goals? Oh, but what can you expect? We don't have a striker up front. You have had 3 windows, or even 4 windows to fix that situation. You have had 6 windows since Aubameyang has left, and you still haven't fixed the goddamn situation. You are in no place to talk about this stuff unless you have signed a striker, you have coached him properly, and it hasn't worked out. And he's done none of that at the end of the day. That's why I want this manager gone. Exactly. Berta should have the ultimate say with the transfers, not Arteta. Exactly. Berta should have the final saying on the transfers. Berta should be able to go up to Mikel Arteta and say, you are not getting Sesko. I'm getting you Gyökeres. You'll deal with it or you'll get out of the club at the end of the day. You can't stand the heat. You get out of the kitchen. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like Andrea Berta has been given such power at Arsenal. Then again, I'm going to play a bit of a devil's advocate here, right? I strongly believe that we will see the real Andrea Berta next summer. Yes, it sounds like Netflix FC, next season, all this stuff. But I'm starting to believe that there is some sort of a situation at Arsenal that Andrea Berta is giving Mikel Arteta his signings that he wants, like Norgard, like players like that, like Zubimendi, like maybe it might be Sesko. And when that doesn't work, and he again comes short, there will be no more excuses. There will be no more reasons why he did not get it over the line. And Arteta will be gone. And then with the new manager, who I think Andrea Berta will himself suggest to Kroenkes to sign, they will work in a tandem together, and they will kick on from there. That is my conspiracy theory of the day. Let's just put it that way. Big up everyone. 12 likes. If you could do me a favor, smash the likes. Let's get to 20 likes by the end of the stream. And if you have any thoughts, put them down in the live chat and subscribe if you are new around here. What a ridiculous remark that Arteta said. We need a striker because it doesn't make any sense to put Havertz as a striker when he is a midfielder. Yeah. Like, everyone saw it doesn't work in the midfield. Oh, let's just put him at striker. He basically panicked. He didn't know what else to do. He needed to justify the 65 million to 85 grand a week signing. Basically threw shit at wall and saw what sticks. And unfortunately, to some extent, he hit a purple patch. It stuck. Hence why last summer we didn't sign a striker. Because he said, he most likely thought Havertz will kick on from here. You had Blobby from AFTV saying Havertz is going to score 20 goals this season. He had 9 by February. None of the Arsenal attackers got over 9 goals. Not even 9. Martinelli finished on 8, if I'm not mistaken. Trossard also on 8 or 7. First time in 100+ years, Arsenal finished the season without a single attacker, without a single player having double-digit goals. First time in a century, a century. Honestly, I can't wait for the Women's European Championship so I can force the England ladies. I get it. We gonna know when we see a striker come in who has the more say. 100%. And the worst part is, it's gonna be Mikel, because we wanted Sesko last summer already, and we didn't sign him. For me, the biggest question is, what has changed all of a sudden? Is it only because Leipzig didn't get into Europe for next season? Or what? Because last year, according to reports, if you believe them or not, they were suggesting that they sat down with Mikel Arteta, and Arteta said, I see Havertz as my number 1 striker. You're going to be his backup. And Sesko said, no thanks, I don't want that, and he pees the seed. What has changed to this season? Has Arteta seen the light that we need a goddamn striker? Or what? What has changed? Like, seriously, what the goddamn has changed? I think one of the reasons they don't sign Gyökeres is his age, but they don't have a problem signing someone like Eze. Dude, Eze would be also a fantastic signing for Arsenal. And I wish we'll sign Eze, exactly. They don't want to sign Gyökeres because he's, 27, 28? Yet at the same time, they have no problem signing 30-plus-year-old Jorginho, Norgard, and players like that. Aubameyang was 27 when we signed him. No issues there. Obviously, it was a Wenger signing, but still. Like, make it make sense. Make it genuinely make sense. 22-23 season, Partey was injured and Arsenal finished second. Partey is a good player, no doubt about it, but he has decided not to renew his contract with Arsenal for one reason or other, bringing one reason or the other. Serious, like, we're not gonna know the reasons until Thomas Partey speaks up. Unless he speaks up, we will never see the reasons. We will never find out the reasons at the end of the day. Let's be real. Unless Partey comes out and says basically that Arsenal offered this, I wanted that, or he is going to come out and say I was sick and tired of Arteta's crap, we will never know. We can only speculate now. They're both in their prime there at the perfect age. Yeah. I hate the phone keyboard, dude. I hate it as well. I have too fat of fingers. I try to type quickly and I type completely different words. And many spelling errors as well. Harry, simple question. If Arteta doesn't win anything this season, would you sack him? Oh, bloody hell. Don't gang up on people here. Partey had injuries, but he was consistent. Yes, Partey needed about 4 games to get into gears after coming back from injury, but when he got into gears, you could see why Arsenal signed him, why we needed him. It's just that it's also weird that Partey was pretty much injury-free in athletic career 5-6 years, coming up through their system. Yet, as soon as he joined Arsenal, he fell off a cliff. Instantly got injured consistently. We signed Merino. Isn't he 27? Wait. Merino is... Oh, for fuck's sake. Misspelled Merino. Merino is 29. When we signed him, he was 28. When we signed Merino, he was 28. Merino is 29 right now. That's even worse. He's older. Partey was our best player last season. I would say Partey was our best midfielder last season. Best player for me, Gabriel or Timba, 100%. Partey, 100% is in my top 5 in players of the season, but definitely not the best. Yeah, Partey was consistent. Like, I know this will be a weird comparison, but for example, Nacho Monreal at Arsenal. No matter what was happening, you could depend on Nacho Monreal that he's going to give you a solid 7 out of 10 every single game at least, right? With Thomas Partey, what you got when he was on, when he was into gears, when he wasn't injured and everything, you got 7 out of 10 at least minimum as well. He was very good. Very good. Overall. Most of the players aren't happy with that. I would assume so. Like, they don't want to speak up because they don't want to disrupt the Lord, the Savior, and the Gandhi Arteta himself. But at some point, somebody has to speak up. That is the biggest thing. When will someone speak up? When will someone genuinely stand up and say, no, I don't want to play defense. I want to attack, for example. When will someone say that? Because remember the Bukayo Saka interview when Ben White was out and Timber was playing? And Bukayo Saka came out and said, Mikel Arteta wants our forwards to defend first and then only attack. Then he got asked what's the difference between playing with Ben White and then playing with Jurrien Timber. First thing he said, with Timber at the back, I can attack more because defensively he's more solid. I don't have to track back as much. Says it all, doesn't it? Says it all. As they carried me at the last few weeks, the fantasy, so I really want him at the club. I get it. I don't play fantasy Premier League, but as a ex-Arsenal as well, at Arsenal Academy, the guy cried when he got cut from the academy and everything. That is the nuts part. And he's saying himself he wants to play for Arsenal once again and everything. He would even play with a chip on his shoulders when he would return to Arsenal because he would have an extra incentive to prove that Arsenal were wrong for cutting him from the club. Think about it that way. There would be extra incentives even then when he plays. That's what's nuts. That's what's the nuts part. Like, seriously, like, it's actually kind of insane when you come to think of it. When you come to think of it, that's actually insane. We must get Eze. Yeah, Eze, Rodrigo, Gyökeres. So we can't talk about age of Gyökeres because we have an older player. Yeah, exactly. Big up, Hendon. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Big up, Hendon Gunnar. Hope you're having a great day. Big up. Okay. Anyone into conspiracy theories? Anyone into conspiracy theories? It comes from Marca. So take that with insane, well, massive pinch of salt. Let's just put it that way. However, just to get your blood boiling a bit, apparently, according to Marca, so as I said, take it with massive pinch of salt, right? Real Madrid believe that a player will ask to leave the club soon. Their answer to him will be bring an appropriate offer from a club and you can leave. Anyone want to wager whether it's going to be Rodrigo or someone else? Anyone hopes that it will be Rodrigo and Arsenal actually going to sign him up? And the worst part is, even if Rodrigo requests a transfer, I can see Bayern Munich getting him. I can see City getting him. That is the sad part. I can see other teams outbidding us. Because when a player of the caliber as of Rodrigo would become available on the market, you can bet your sweet ass that every big club is going after him. Every big club will go after him. You can bet your sweet cookie if this is the case. At least that's how I see it. Bring Eze. Yeah, bring Eze. Swap for Odegaard. Swap Eze for Odegaard. I want Gyökeres and Eze now. I want Gyökeres, Rodrigo, and Eze right now on the spot. I want those three. But yeah, can you imagine? Like, I can already see about 3-4 teams that will go for even Rodrigo, right? If he becomes on market, because he has been the hot topic in the media. So let's just talking in hypotheticals of Rodrigo, right? Let's be real. Let's genuinely be real. There will be 3-4 teams that will come in for him instantly. Arsenal must be one of those teams. And with all the media coverage Arsenal have gone about Rodrigo and how much they would be on their knees for Rodrigo, with giving him being one of the centerpieces, consistent time on the left wing and everything, you better not screw this up if that is the case. Eze or Rodrigo, Sesko Saka gives you what you want. For me, it is Rodrigo. I would buy Rodrigo, I would buy Gyökeres, Saka on the right, and I would buy Eze, and I would basically play Eze instead of Odegaard. That's how I see it. But unfortunately for Mikel Arteta, Odegaard is undroppable. So I kind of don't see that happening, unfortunately. And you can also believe the fact that if we sign Eze, Arteta will force him to play left wing. That is also the case. Even though, in my opinion, Eze is more dangerous through central areas where he can cut the lines and cut between the players, right? That is also a big issue for me. That is also a big question for me. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. We will have to wait and see, sit patiently and wait. And of course, in 2 days, everything begins, everything kicks off. So let's see where that brings us. Genuinely, let's see where that brings us, because that could be actually quite insane. Brian Munich. I cannot even. Bayern Munich, Bayern Munich have scored 1-0 against Flamenco. Eric Pulgar scored an own goal from a corner. Trying to clear it, scored an own goal. I just put it that way. But yeah, just drop 85 million pounds for Rodrigo is our yeah, exactly. That for me is the biggest thing. Arsenal are never proactive. They're only reactive, and they react when it's too late. Be proactive. If there is a possibility, even slight glimmer, that potentially Rodrigo might be leaving Real Madrid, he would want to leave Real Madrid, put in a bid. Make Rodrigo's head spin even more. Promise him stuff, because you have the abilities, you have the money. Make that. Give him an extra bargaining chip to go into Real Madrid's office in front of Florentino Perez and say, Arsenal want me. They're offering me, let's just say, 300 grand a week. I'm going to play left wing. I'm going to be a star here. They most likely going to put about 80 to 85 million on the table. Why not? I'm out. Like, genuinely, just make the head spin. Give extra bargaining chips for everyone. Just do it. Be proactive for a change. For me, Gyökeres and Eze, okay. Well, all I need all three: Gyökeres, Rodrigo, Neze. And that's the thing. I don't. The sad part is, I don't think we're gonna sign all three. We will be lucky if we sign two of them, and one of them will be Sesko, not Gyökeres. I think Gabriel Magalhaes needs to be our captain. Yeah, 100%. It's either Gabriel or maybe Rice. What? Oh, I'm not getting into that one. I'm not getting into why we want to sack him because I kind of have to slowly wrap it up, and I don't want to be on another 5-year tangent on why Arteta should be sacked. I'm not gonna lie. Kwame Rodrigo is a left winger. Left wing is his natural position. Real Madrid play him right wing only because they have Vini there. Rodrigo, by default, when he just got brought in from Brazil, was a left winger. Hence why he wants to play left wing. On top of that, some of his best games for Real Madrid have come from left wing. He wants to play left wing desperately. And that should be one of the Arsenal's biggest bargaining chips they can offer to Rodrigo. Starting role at left wing, no questions asked. Let's be real. Especially with the latest interest from Al Nassr, apparently, into Martinelli. If they offer about 50, 60 million, sell him and just get Rodrigo, no matter what the cost. At the end of the day, just do it. Just do something like that. Just be proactive. Show initiative. Do something at the end of the day. That's what the most annoying part about Arsenal transfer windows and in general, even when Mikel Arteta coaches the games. Because he's always reactive, not proactive. Like per like subs and all this stuff. So I guess it is what it is. But yeah, guys, I think on that note, we're gonna end today's stream. It's been a fun one. It's been a great one. Big up to you all who dropped in, who commented, who liked, who subscribed. If you haven't already, like the stream, subscribe. Please do me that favor. And yeah, I'm gonna head off for now. Tomorrow is June 30th. Let's see what tomorrow brings. New week, new possibilities, new opportunities. Hopefully Arsenal can do something. But yeah, for today, I'm gonna sign off. Big up everyone. Have a nice evening. Have a nice great tomorrow. Have a nice start of the week. Big up to everyone. Big up to Most Wanted, AJ, Kwame, Harry, Beggy. Big up everyone. Hope you had a great time. See you very, very soon. And hope Arsenal actually signs someone big very, 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 very soon. Big up to you all. Peace.